So, we have, hailing from Latvia, Kirils. He is a pen tester, reverse engineer, and in general, like hacker from a very young age. And accompanying is Iceman, who is also a very seasoned speaker, also like talked on DEF CON, big hacker events, and they both have a lot of interesting stuff to report about their research around RFID and the security issues. So, welcome them with a warm round of applause.
You go! Give me some energy! Woo! Now that's the kid does that shit. So, I don't know you know me. I do see a couple of familiar faces here. That makes me very, very happy. And we are very, very glad and we're feeling very, very welcome to the Y 2025.
Quite a turnout, isn't it? We were a bit worried because they put the opening over our slot on day 2. But here we are and here you are. Thank you for being here.
Yes, this was completely empty before. I was like, yes, it's going to be easy. And now the pressure's on. Anyway, like the Harold was saying before, does any of you guys have done anything with RFID? Wow.
Almost half of you.
It's going to be bad. You know this stuff. Fuck. Anyway, do you know anything about the Flipper Zero or Proxmark? Good. Because I'm Iceman, and you most likely have used my firmware for the Proxmark for the last decade or so. I love open source. I use 4 tabs and 4 spaces and a tab. And together with me, we're going to be doing this.
I'm Kirils, and as was presented before, I am the practical pen tester. So we've been doing pen tests in my company, including red teams, for many, many years. And I will try to tell you some practical stories on how what great researchers do applies in the field. Now, you can look at my slides at kirils.org and other stuff, right? But what's important is I like bullet points and Iceman not so much, so you can tell which slide is which later on. Right, so today we're going to talk about why, of course, obviously, right? We have to talk about why, we can't skip that. Where, how, secure, and attacks. Let's go through that. So, why is RFID relevant? Now, when creating the content for the talk, we were trying to estimate, does anyone even use RFID except the hackers? And obviously they do. So the question is, how many of them are there? How many tags? Well, looking at different statistics for different alliances, we managed to find the lower bound estimate, right? So we're looking at hundreds of billions of RFID tags in use today. Clearly an important thing. And here in the camp, of course, we have different things to hack with RFID as well. That is a lot of tags. Well, where is RFID used? Outside of the camp, right? Machine-readable document. Anyone has a passport, like not the hacker passport, but the government one that they force you to have. 20%. Okay, cool. That's good.
They never leave you.
Right, well, there's RFID chip in there, so they are tracking you in a sense. Car mobilizer systems as well, so even daily vehicles that some of us drive has RFID in them. Payment systems, of course. Here at the camp, you can pay with 2 similar but different RFID systems. You can use this amazing card right here, which is the Y payment card, or you can use your corporate real-life card to pay using RFID as well. Now, different entry systems, membership cards, hotel rooms, getting into buildings. Now, hotel rooms are fun. Usually when me or Iceman go to a hotel, then we take a look at the cards and try to understand if, which rooms can be opened using some modifications.
That was fun at Troopers, though.
Oh, yeah.
We did this talk at Troopers just before, as you can see. Good German conference. And their system there in the hotel turned out to be Messerschmitt, and it was kind of fun. So now we got the room number algo sorted out, so yes. Another hotel system, down.
Yeah, we still didn't have the time to hack the Y payment cards here, but what I did take a look at is it's, of course, centralized database and just an ID. So don't allow other people to take photo of your Y payment cards, I guess. Right. Of course, different badge systems, gate systems, getting in, getting out, access control. These days, it's usually implemented together with biometric systems, which means it adds another layer of security. Now, when talking to practical people implementing and doing security architecture, there's sometimes a question from people less knowledgeable, is biometric the new golden standard? As you know, of course, no. But if you combine them two, you effectively get two-factor authentication at the gate as well. Now, in ticket systems as well, all ticket systems have been fun, but a lot of them have been hacked, and some of them have been fixed over the years. Maybe some of you have hacked ticket systems. I know a bunch of people that have done that. I have done that myself back in Riga. That was super fun. And you can also track luggage using, for example, passive tags. So, did your luggage get lost this time?
My luggage arrived this time, yes.
Yeah.
It seemed to be cursed with airplanes, yes.
Yeah, at Troopers you had to wait for it for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yes, and toll collection. So, you know, these people with deep pockets build roads and then they want their money back. So you just got to pay them if you travel with the card. So how does it work? How does RFID work in effect? Now, this is a random picture I found on the internet. But I really love layer models. I'm a network engineer originally, like 20 years ago. That's what I was doing. So, and this explains quite nicely what we have in there. It allows you to kind of pack all the different parts, right? So we have the physical stuff. Right here we have the reader, and we have the tag, and we do have the models of the reader and the tag. And they do communicate in the physical world through the air interface, that's the radio waves, and they do communicate on the logical sense through the air interface model, which is the theoretical part. And there's a hardware layer that goes into whatever device you have, for example, a laptop, through the software layer, right? And then you have your application. You can install anything on there. So for example, for payment here at Y, we do have the physical cards that Iceman showed you. Probably your money is going to be gone by the end of the presentation from the card. We do have the physical cell point devices. That's our reader here, and it is implemented just to read the ID and get the payment stuff done. Yes, so that's one of the readers.
You are fast, man.
Am I?
Oh, man.
And you're Iceman.
I'm Iceman. I always want to comment that Kirils really, you can tell that he worked with governments because he likes his academic shit. This is really not for me. So when you look at this is an example of a test board for RFID reader. So this is integrated on the PCB. So you see the layers here, the vias, that is the antenna that is used. If you match that together with a see-through card for RFID, it looks like this. It's very beautiful to see it. And you can very easily tell what kind of technology this is. Can anybody tell me what technology this card is?
High frequency.
Oh, well, 2 Aussies and 1 Netherlands. Good. The rest of you? Yes, it's high frequency. Because it's tuned for 13.56 megahertz, and you only need a very short wavelength and low frequency. Low frequency has like 23 turns. It's like 20 meters, something like that. Need to do the induction part. Do you know how induction works? Fuck that shit.
It is
You know what to
magic.
tell the story. Okay. Anyway, induction works because of Maxwell's laws from 1874. Great guy. But the concept is, you have a reader you saw before, you inject electrons. When you have moving electrons, you have a moving magnetic field. If you enter a tag into the field, you have a moving magnetic field, you also have to have moving electron field. So that's how you passively or inductively transfer power, and that's how the IC on the tag is powered up and be able to become live.
Really, really important though, induction did work before the 19th century, before
We just
Maxwell
figured
discovered
shit out,
it.
yes, it still always worked. Did you see the Tesla show yesterday? Well, that's fucking awesome, wasn't it? Don't bring your electric stuff near that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. Okay, we got
that's the
pictures.
field.
That's the field.
Inducing current in the tag, right? Oh, and did you mention that how the tag transmits information back?
Oh, yeah, I didn't. So how the way we communicate is more or less like they cut the power. So they regenerate the field with a certain power levels. And the tag either shorts that field out, so it's like you see the power drops. So it's like screaming, like water hose communication, like Morse. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And as you know, there are different kinds of tags. So for all intents and purposes, we have low-frequency tags, of course. We have high-frequency tags and ultra-high-frequency tags. Now, historically, I think we have those slides later on. Historically, low-frequency tags are considered less secure, but what's important is they don't necessarily have to be, right? It's about amount of the power that the chip can have and amount of data that's being transferred, basically. UHF tags are sometimes active as well, so they don't need induction to transfer data.
They don't do induction, no, they like radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So that's just a small overview. Now, the real question is, are they secure enough? Now, we weren't here if they were completely secure, but we wouldn't be here if they were completely broken either, because that would be nothing to do there. So we're right in the middle. There are some good tags, some bad tags. So in general, when we talk about RFID protection and encryption, some of the cards are read-only. For example, EM4000 cards, read-only cards. You can either not program them at all, they come from the factory, or you program them once, and then you're supposed to lock down the card. Well, supposed to. Mostly implementations do lock them down, not always that would happen. That reminds me of the, was it during, I think that was during Snowden leaks. Didn't have to do much with RFID, but there was this Cisco telephone that was used by all the top secret agencies and White House as well. The firmware update chip had to be locked down after the firmware update, and it wasn't. So someone created malware that flashed malware on the phone and then locked the chip down. So you had to like throw the thing away.
That's a side note.
Yeah, you can do similar things with RFID. There you go.
I'm sweating my ass off. Are you sweating? Yeah, I need some drink. I've never been to Y and done a camp here or do a talk here, but in DEF CON, when you do a first-time talk, you usually get something to drink. Do you have the same thing here? Oh, yeah, I want a whiskey then. Someone give me something to drink.
Did you miss the whiskey leaks yesterday?
Yeah, I did. Were you there?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, god damn. I even missed the cider leak thing.
Oh, there's fondue leaks, I think, but I'm not clear.
Is that the food hacking?
I don't know. I'm not clear to know. I just heard that it exists. Right. What's happening there?
It's just a joke, Chantal. So.
What? Oh,
This
right,
is the
right.
joke.
That is the joke, yes.
Yeah, that's the joke. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, Edwin.
So let's put the side notes away for a second.
Yes.
So when working with RFID, one basic stuff you can do is you can imagine a RFID card as a USB memory stick. So many of them are writable. There are some bad sectors that you cannot write sometimes, and they may be encrypted, they may be not encrypted, right? So what you need to do when implementing a valid system is, of course, encrypt the data at rest. So you can't just pull it out and understand what's happening. Encrypted comms are also really, really important here. You can use CMAC or HMAC, of course, for that.
For signing it, yep.
Yes, but out of the box, Desfire or HID secure card is the one you can use. Yeah, we have one slide about crypto, but that's going to be at the very end, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's an important one.
I think we change the order of that one, yeah.
We're gonna keep you on the edge for that, right?
All right.
So, if you do crypto, of course, you need cryptographic keys. As they say, if there's no key in crypto, then they're just encoding. So, how can you manage the keys with the cards? Right? Using diversified keys is really important. Otherwise, you can just sniff the key, you can just crack the key, and if it's the same key for all the cards in the system or multiple neighboring systems, then it makes it really easy for an attacker. What you usually use is KDFs, key diversification functions, that allow you to...
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Key diversification functions.
I hate that word.
KDF.
I see KDF.
KDF sounds like KDF. Everyone knows KDF, right? So you use that in order to make sure in easy enough way that keys are different but related, so you can, derive them, but the attacker cannot. Rolling key is sometimes used. Now, the most common thing that all of you know probably is outside the classic RFID world. It's the radio world for car remote fobs, right? It's a similar thing here. So basically, the key is changed using mathematical formula. It's a hash function usually, and counters increase by 1, and we get the next key. And the ways to deploy the keys are different as well. You can have a unique key per card, or you can have a unique key per
I have a great story
site.
about that.
Which one?
This one.
Okay.
Yeah, I will tell them the story.
Please, we do have like 2 hours. We asked to put this before the break, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We can do time.
Yeah, we can do time. No, let's not do
Anyway,
time.
so I was in Vegas, and when I talk to people, I interact with the community, and I always encourage them to do and give me the best war stories they have, because I sit at home and don't see anything of that shit. You guys do the wild things ever, and I love hearing those stories. So one of his guys comes up and says, "Oh, Iceman, I love you." Okay, great. Awesome. Buy me a beer. Okay, thank you. And he's like, "Yeah, we use your stuff in a place. It's a secure facility in San Francisco. And, we didn't get any management, anything keys there, but we got a janitor key." It's like, great. So, not super great. Then that was a very, very large corporation. I will just say a random name, has nothing to do with anything. But in another town, say Chicago, there was another facility that we had as well. And by using the janitor key from San Francisco, they had full access in Chicago. And this is why you don't have non-diversified keys, and you really do it per site as well, per card.
Yeah, very on point, right? And, of course, you should secure the keys with secure elements, so you can't just pop them out of there. If you're not doing RFID protection, what are you doing?
Well, you're doing it wrong. Repeat.
Correct.
Correct.
Wrong. OTP. This is less of a mouthful, right? One-time programmable field. Also means one-time pad, but not in the RFID world. One of the strongest encryption schemes, by the way. So, one-time programmable field is basically a part of the card, part of the memory of the card that can be only written once. Usually, they are divided into single bits, because, you can only do it once. And you can either set it or clear it depending on either the model of the card or the configuration of the card. Now, the good practice is to use authentication when writing. I think a counterexample of that would be MyFair Ultralight, the very first one.
Yeah, for ticket system. It uses for bus ticket system.
Yeah.
So, we have 10 rides or something like that.
But there's no authentication when writing the field. Right? So in Ultralight, what you do is you usually add, well, you don't use it, but if you do use it, you add some crypto on top, right, that you implement on your own. Yes, and it's of course suitable for, as you mentioned, public rights, for example. You can in Ultralight, I think up to 20 or 24 is what you could do on a single card. Right.
I think it's 32 if it counters, and then fuck it.
Yeah, that's probably right. So, how to encrypt stuff? So we have DES, right? We have 3DES, which is slower and a bit more secure, AES as well. Or you can run custom crypto, I think.
This is the running joke in my world, In RFID hacking scene, I don't know why, but they keep on running their fucking custom crypto, man.
Well, we have it on the slide.
Oh, we have a slide for that?
No.
Oh, man.
No, this is what's happening, right? This is what's happening in the world. It's not our recommendation to you, of course. The general rule, of course, is you use the highest system available. Whatever is the most secure, whatever works for your use case, you use that. Now, if you were to create some magical system, let's say you have wooden racing cars going down the slope, and you wanted to, for some reason, use RFID to detect their speed. Now, at that point, you would need to use crypto that is fast enough, of course, for that application. So you take that in mind as well. But as a general rule, use the fastest, the quickest, the most strongest one. Jesus Christ.
I
need a drink.
You do. If you think system integrators and you have a legacy world, there's always old stuff out there, and they're not always able to upgrade the firmwares on it. So you end up with, the highest mutual or lowest level of crypto that they can use. Which is sad in one way, and that's good for us.
That's rule number 2 that Iceman's talking about here.
Yes, because backwards compatibility really sucks. But still, it's good for me.
Right, and rule number 3, our favorite, don't roll your own crypto.
Never do.
You're probably gonna fail. I mean, there might be top cryptographers here in this audience or watching this online, but they are few in the world, right? And why would some of them invest their time into doing custom crypto for a random system somewhere? So crypto is one of the hardest fields in computer science and security. Now, elliptic signatures, relatively new stuff, came out, you know. It's really good for validating, but it is slow. So depending on the speed that you need to do for your system, you might be able to do that or not.
Oh, it's funny though, because it's like commonly used is this originality signature on the cards you see today from NXP. That shows that we are, oh shit, that's a mouth.
What?
No, a speaker. Yeah. That was loud. Scary. Anyway, so NXP has this way of determining this is genuine tag that they actually provided. However, what I just was told last week actually, there's another lock system, big popular hotel system from Assa Abloy, WinCard, that runs on the latest software running now. They are running their own custom signature keys. So when you see a card from them today, running the latest, you can tell that's latest because the signature will not match of the one of the public key that we have to verify the signature. So that's interesting. And no, we didn't release the public key, but we can extract it, so we will do that.
Tell me, Iceman, does originality signature introduce better security, or is it just some vendor lock-in stuff?
For me, no. For most people, maybe. But you would use a more modern magic card to emulate. It has the possibility to just, you take the UID and you take the signature data, and that's it. So there's no extra protection in that sense, if the magic card is good. But we haven't spoken about magic cards, but we'll do that.
Yeah, of course. And here we are, attacks. And of course, one of the attacks is magic cards, but we'll get there, right? So, card cloning is one of the things you can do. You can use magic cards, or you can use genuine cards. Now, when using magic cards, what's magic about them is you can do more stuff with them than a regular card. We did mention that if you have a card, maybe it's writable once, and then you lock it down. Maybe it's already locked, right? ID of a card is usually one of the fields, parts of the memory of the card, that is vendors are not too happy about offering people to write in. So magic cards work around that. Now, my favorite classic Gen 4 is one of the cards, one of the newest ones, right?
That's the latest generation. We have a strange nomenclature, but if you're into this field, which some of you are, pentesters and red teamers, you will find online on AliExpress and all that, you're going to see these long lines of different acronyms added on to say that they're magic. And what they're trying to say is in which system they work, so can you use an Android phone to use it, or you need your Flipper or Proxmox to code it. And how much functionality it is. So magic cards is actually one of his rat races. So vendor system implementation of a vendor has one introduction to a card, and it's like, this is our system. Magic card comes out in China to overcome that, so we can make a copy of it, because copies are expensive. That's how we make money. And then the vendor goes like, oh yeah, we need to detect that it's a magic card. So we start implementing detection for it, leading to our next iteration of a magic card, generation 2, 3, and we're up in magic card number 4, which is kind of advanced, that one. And it's kind of hard to really focus on it. So if you're into pen testing and red teaming, they're expensive as fuck. They cost like $40 a pop. And you need to spend some time to understand how it really works and all the functionality based on it. Because it's not like generation 1A, which you just like copy restore the data file to it. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah. Remember that cards are not just USB sticks, they're computers, especially magic cards.
Yes.
Card key fob.
Yes. If you're into card cloning, card key cloning, like locksmiths do, there is a X-Horse that's used. It's a programmable chip that's there, kind of expensive. It's a whole ecosystem, very nice reader. And yes, they extracted the KDFs for a lot of car places, car ECUs and all that. So yeah, that works.
Oh yes, the Russian cards.
The Russians, yes. Yeah, the Russian, It's funny because normally it's only developed in China, but the last couple of years we have seen it comes out from Russia as well. They run their own ICs and own custom builds to target local systems in Russia. So yeah, that was fun. We met them at Balcon last year.
Right. So there are no magic cards for these systems yet.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe you can be the one to create them and, make some money, but it will cost some money to create the cards initially, won't it?
Yes. If you make a magic card, it's what's the running cost of it? It's about 10,000 to 100,000 K.
Yeah, less than 100,000, to develop it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, then another thing you can do besides cloning is emulate, right? You can use different tools. There's Chameleon Ultra. It has like a bunch of slots you can put the cards in. You can select the card. Really nice. It's passive in RFID way, but it does have a battery to run the microcontroller switched off. Flipper Zero, our favorite one, right? No. Iceman is just pissed about people asking him when he's going to release Iceman firmware for Flipper Zero. And Proxmark 3, of course. Have you heard about that one?
I never heard about Proxmark. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, Proxmark 3 is more of a research device. It's in my opinion, as a person who applies these things, it's not really suitable too much to do in the field, right? But that's something that we do when we do get some readers in or some cards to take a look at what's happening in them. But you use it much more advanced than I do.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Hit cards. Cloning hit cards, well, Flipper Zero can do that, and Proxmark can do that, but there is a thing that's common. You need the SAM to do that. Why?
No, I'm laughing. This slide is so American, so you don't get it. HID is gigantic in Americas, in UK, and in Australia. In Europe, it's not that big, so you guys go like, who cares about HID? But yes, so it's such a big thing, and they have this idea that if you buy a genuine SAM, load it up with the keys onto it, you use a little extra board, the NARD board, and you hook it up to your flipper, you can copy almost all of HID stuff and emulate it with a flipper just like that. And so it's a pen tester's wet dream to have that. And in the beginning, HID really didn't care about people buying the SAMs, loaded up with the keys. So there's no breach of anything like that. And they didn't care because people were buying from them. And then after like 6 months to like a year, where people just kept on buying SAMs, I mean, HID apparently go like, why are we doing that? And people telling them like, do you know we can clone your cards now? Kind of odd, isn't it? And they just pulled it. There was a shop here, RFID Easy, whatever it's called in the Netherlands, or RFID Ideas, I think it's called. You know about it? And they had that SAM, and it's like, yeah, we got a mail from HID, so we're not allowed to sell them anymore. They just pulled it. So you get a SAM today, you do it by scouring eBay for some printer cloner devices, cost about $60 or whatever. But you need that one if you're into pen testing, red teaming, if you're ever going to end up with doing HID stuff.
Yeah, that's the relatively expensive part, but still super cheap.
And if you want very good instructions how to do that and you want to learn up, you use that link.
Yeah, you probably don't see the link, but it's...
Yeah, but you see the slides.
It's C752 and so on. It's going to be in the slides and online, of course. Right, then you can also attack the readers. You can create weaponized readers. You can implant. You can do a decoy, and you can do a door simulator. Let's take a look. We have some slides for them, right? Or you want? Oh, yeah. Here's a. Tell about the picture. Yeah.
Can you get that one back again?
Maybe.
Thank you. I'm not trusting you anymore. Weaponized readers. Do you know where it came from? Not even you, Toby? Bishop Fox. That's kind of interesting, though, isn't it? Is Shubs in there? Is there? Okay, cool. Yes, so it's a typical thing. So Bishop Fox, 2012, Black Hat, did a talk about it. where they came up with the idea, they're a pen test and red team company, and they came up with the idea, we need to clone things, but we need to do it in the field. And we were not allowed, they wanted to breach NDAs and, making a copy of things. So they just came up with the idea, if we take a genuine reader, just read the data lines, add power for it, like a battery pack, and then we have what they call weaponized readers. I can tell that they work with the government or MIL, because otherwise they will not use a word like weaponized. It's like typical of them. So we try to decode it, because since then, people start evolving those concepts. So we actually broke it down in 3 parts, like implants, decoys, and door simulators. What you see here, oh yeah, it is. Okay, that's the packs they get on. This is one of the latest, what would I call that one? They call it door simulators, but it could just be take away the screen, and then it would be a weaponized reader as in an implant. But this one uses high-tech too. This focus on the packs they get on, the Paxton system. Everything in the UK uses it. So, good for you to know, for you who do those things. I don't think you have it otherwise. More implants. You have our fantastic RFID thief, Frambound, that was what we talked about. We Gotcha, RFID chief, Corey Harding, what everybody uses. It's another Australian team. The Team Ballers, they made an update to the whole thing and made a Tusk, so we made a more modern circuit board. So the thing is a little circuit board that you add on to a reader. And you have an older one, it's the BLE key, the successor became the ESP key, and the latest one is called the TIC. The TIC, by Jacob and Julia, they talked about this one at Black Hat Asia now this spring when Evil Demon and I was there. And it's a really, really neat one. And the Pax they get on team figure out that they were there and do open source and all that stuff. So they added their things. So normally, these implants can do vegan data. But the Paxton system uses clock-in data. And they had some open source code. So they actually added that to the TIC repo. So if you use the TIC and you make it as an implant for your covert operations, that one is the latest and the best.
So someone was asking yesterday, just came up to me and asked, there's just not one implant, right? So I told him, we're going to have a slide for you here. So here it is, there are a lot of them. And the real question for me was, why? Why do we have so many of them? And it's features. Either convenience features or actual attack features that you have. And I think what we didn't just explain quite clearly for those who haven't planted an implant, you open up the reader and then you get the wires, right? It's not something you can just add on from the outside. Usually you open it up and then you find the wires and clamp it on. So that's how that works. Really, really neat stuff. Put the cover back on, no one suspects anything.
Yes. And then decoys. That was another American guy who sent Travis Weber or something like that, sent over some devices, and they are meant to be put in the field next to a normal installation. It's just battery powered, it's an implant inside of it. It looks really genuine, and it beeps and all that stuff. So yeah, that's a doppelganger. So you can Google that one up as well. And then we have the latest of things for learning mostly, is the door simulators. And this is a funny thing. The concept actually of it is more like a guy called Evil Demon, and he's a great guy, Aussie guy. Love that guy.
He lent us this thing here for the demo.
Is he here?
I don't know.
Are you here, Evil? Stand up. Take some fucking bows. Give him some applause. Stand up, Evil. There you go. Yeah. Love that guy. So what he did is he platformed it a little bit better. We actually got a copy of it here. And yeah,
it's right there.
That's battery power, yeah. So, yeah, it's on LCD screen. The embedded reader is there. If we take that screw away, we would have seen the implant onto it on the backside. Oh, we can't see it because it's tied up. And it's really, really good. Do you want to demo it a little bit?
Oh, I'll do it later, But if you put a card, I have some white payment cards here, so we can put a card to it and see what happens, right? It's nothing gonna explode. It's not a badge, right, in that sense. See, it doesn't work. Magic.
I think
This is quite a cool card. It's a new one.
It's an Antec card.
Too bad.
Yeah. So what it does is that you will see the facility code and card number decoded practically for you. And some of the model, this is the packs together one, you also see the Wi-Fi address, because that's how you connect to it. So if anyone has a phone here, you most likely will see Evil Damon's SIM Wi-Fi access point for that one, and you can read the logs out of it. It's really cool. He most likely loved to talk about it, and it's also a free open license. It's a perfect learning tool for anyone who wants to teach people, internally in your teams. Great stuff. The guy is over there. Love the guy. Buy him a Club Mate, whatever. So the Pax Together team is a UK-based team. They hack all that shit there. They made the whole thing, but that's for using clocking data instead. And then we got relay attacks.
Yeah, indeed. So for relay attacks, what we basically do is we take the RFID communication, the radio comms happening at one spot, and we magically transfer it to a different spot. And so we simulate attack in real time.
So the idea is, normally with RFID card, is that you need to be near the reader physically to do it. So if you have a target, whatever it is, who is, for instance, on the toilet, you would... because we put pants down, and usually the credential hangs, the lanyard hangs down, and you can sniff it from there if you have a big ass antenna, and you do that 60 centimeters, because we don't use freedom units. And you read it up, and then you want to either go with that data and make a copy and try to get in, or you can relay it as it is with high security cards like CEOs or Deskfire based. So they would use a concept called D. So what Payment Village, who does EMV payments and all this, they're always into frauds, but also have the same thing with RFID payments, it's tap and pay. So they made a badge last year for Payment Village. This is what we see here. It's a great one. It builds up 2 different antennas, 2 different readers. One acts as a reader and one acts as an emulator. So you can put it on a payment system there, and then you have your card or your phone on the other side, and it will relay, and it also do man-in-the-middle attacks. So you can manipulate the data on the layer 4, ISO 443A-4 layer,
so
when it's on ISO 17.
The benefit of this setup at all is you don't need to physically steal the card.
Yes.
And you don't need to try and break any encryption to clone the card.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And in the PAX world, of course, access control, some guys, 2 years, 2023 average, you can correct me if I said this wrong, Canadian team, Loudmouth, developed an extra add-on to the Proxmark RV4, and they showed off an Android app, so we have an Android app and a Proxmark doing the relay attacks very far away. Fucking awesome. And then Evil showed me some new stuff, and you only need 2 Android phones. So that's kind of awesome. Cryptographic side channel attacks. Is this mine?
I think so. Press the button and you'll see.
Jesus Christ, I need to... I'm sweating, man. Oh, man.
So what... I have a question for you while you think about it. So which of the remaining 30 slides are we going to show in the last 5 minutes?
Oh, fuck. I'm going to speed up. All right, not so much stories. I'm going to do this. All right, what's the latest and greatest in my world? Yes, last year, Philip Turban came up and figured out the MyFair Classic backdoors in the Fuden cards. Fuden is a chip manufacturer in China that makes copies, clones of NXP's MyFair Classic, and it turned out that they have backdoor keys, which we figured out. Then it just allows you to read out all the card memory from the card. It's kind of not good. So MyFair Classic is totally screwed by now. So yeah, great research paper. Philip Turban and some other users in the community held up doing it. It's a great paper. Go and read it and look at his talks. He has done them here in Hawaii and all that places. Great guy. He also developed this script. It's a mouthful, so I'm not going to say it. In the Proxmark code, you can run that one. You will get all the keys, all the memory out, boop, done. It's like auto-pawn for these kind of cards. KDF attacks, key diversification functions. Yes. We should have KDFs, right? Problem is, they need to be stored somewhere, and that's where the RFID research part comes in, so you figure shit out. And we figure a bunch of them out, right? So it's usually a static key somewhere, protected somewhere. You have a CMAC, HMAC, or custom hashing algorithm, that's popular. And they generate keys, diversified keys by card. And you usually enter this UID, the unique identifier for a card. Now, this Door Macabre soft lock KDF came out in 2024 in December, yes? Yeah, that's 10 months ago. And it's more notable because it was like on public then. There was a talk about it before. That's called the Unsoftlock talk. There was a talk now at DEF CON as well about Door Macabre. But that KDF allowed you to read out the cards from that hotel system, very easy, MiFi Classic based. So I have a story about that. The last 5 minutes, we're going to go over time. I'm so sorry about that. You have to be sick of this shit. This is Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. And one of my fond memories, because I've had that KDF since 2018. That's a very funny story, because it turns out that that guy who gave me that KDF from 2018, he was also here at Y. Are you in here, David? Stand up, David. You can do that. Give him applause. The guy is a great American guy, so don't hold that against him. He runs another thing that you pen testers mostly use, crackdes.sh, right? Yeah. So he does that. So what I was doing, side thing, sorry, in Maria Bay Sands, Black Cat Knock, Dark Matter, the guy behind the Wi-Fi Pineapple, he's in the knock for Black Cats, who was there, and normally we stayed there at this place. And above there is the most beautiful infinity pool. It's amazing out there. So in order to get access to that pool area, you need to, you have to swipe a card. And he usually hooks me up because he can't hack it with his flipper. And I was like, hey, Iceman, can you sort me out? I want to get access. Okay, you give me your UID, I sort you out. And he gets a copy, and he goes, oh yeah, that was nice. So yeah. So I've been to Singapore a couple of times, and I mean, I would never do anything, but that's that place. It's my piece of heaven. It's great. Yes, tier of attacks. Fuck, that's my slide as well. Yes.
Do we tell that, or do we move it to another talk, like in a couple months?
Which one?
The tier of attacks. Which one? No, let's do CCC.
You want to hear about tier of attacks?
Yeah.
Do you mind if we go over time? Oh, fuck yeah, let's go for it then. Whoa, shit. Oh, shit.
Okay, what's happening? What's happening here?
I'm pressing wrong button. So, tier of attacks. Well, something that come up in my line of work a couple of years ago, where Mobius and Philip Turvin was talking about things, and he said, yeah, you can actually tier off. So the tier of attack is basically the closest thing we come to in my world to power glitching. What we do is, you power the field and it communicates, but if you just cut the power at very, very specific timings, you wonder to see what happens in the IC, because it goes like slowly brownouting, right? And sometimes that affects read and write situations, and that's a tier of attack.
And that works, of course, because our F is the only source of power for the IC on RFID.
Yes, and the caps on it, so it's a little bit, it's a little bit magic, but it works. And so the ST25TB counters is usually used in transport systems in France, Belgium. Don't know if you have it here in Holland. But Philip, it's Benjamin Depluy, the guy behind Mimikatz. He did some fucking awesome work about it and made a little cool device. We'll talk more later. You can do pico-pass attacks. That's what I talked about at Black Hat some years ago. EV1 counters, that's Philip and me who hacked those shits a couple of years ago. And same thing with EM4305. It just came out when we started understanding that, this is how we do it. So we implemented support for it in the Proxmark. And by that, we open up a whole new field of attacks in my field. So this is one of his versions, and this is a genuine ticket. This is a normal size ticket of your fan. So his device is like smaller than half of his card, right? And it just does tiering. It's fucking amazing. So he just put it on. It's less self-suppliant. There's some buttons on the side, tiering. And he can stand there. Yep, now I have reset the counters. That's what he does, because he tiers to fill up the memory. So instead of using 10 times, he can use it 8 times, put that device on, takes about 5 minutes, and then it's tiered, and he can use it again 10 times. And he had this talk. Is it 8? Is that max? Okay. Ah, you know him. Awesome. He made a stick talk, and he's done other ones as well. It's great. You should see it. And his things is open source as well. Consequences. Yes, many rights.
Yep.
Obviously. And this is the oddest thing that happened to him as I was chatting with him. It's like, yes, I get a lot of things from Italy. It's like, why? It's like, yes, there's a vending machine there that uses the same thing. So, yes, and all of a sudden, all these vending machine people in Italy, it was very interested in his research. I don't know about that. If you can't pay for one coffee, it's like, oh, man, that's hard. Yeah, that was a Coach vending machine. Yeah, sorry. Yes, I-class steering. Oh, yeah, this is cool. This is what I did this spring. So what you're looking at here is what I do. This is my world. So this is beautiful to me. So I'm running up here the tear-off attack we've implemented in the Proxmark, and you can see slowly here, this is original values, and this is what we're going to tear off. And what happens in I-class is...
My bad.
Sir, step away from the computer.
Don't do American on me.
What happens in I-class when you tear is either a memory tears from FFFs to zeros, or you tear it from zeros to FFFs. And in I-class Pico world, it goes to FFF. So it's kind of fun because then you can reset the thing. Same thing with ISO 1414B things with ST25s. It enables to FFFs.
And that's because of how memory works, flash memory, right? You need to reset the block first.
So slowly you can see there's two phases that's going on, because it's two different pictures, so this just continues, then it goes here, and you see in the end of here, we more or less got all the FFFs, right? So you have an erase phase, and you have a write phase. So different ways of writing to memory means that, no, we clear the memory first, and then we write to it, because that's how it works in the EEPROM world. And we just figure out exactly where the erase phase is. We can, if we want FFFs, we take the between phase between the erase and the beginning of the write phase. So like, we're done. But sometimes we just want flips. This is where the magic comes into it, because then we're going to do fun stuff. This is the command that we implemented. The guy is called ATK. I made a script back in 2022, which I never released, and I haven't got around to do it, because when I talked about it, I talked about tearing the e-purse. And he got really interested in this spring, and it's like, I'm very excited about things, so I got into it as well, because I can't say no, apparently. I have a problem with that. So we did this. This is what came out of it. And here is the application configuration part's what we do. So this part here is called the ePurse, and that is used when you authenticate towards an Pico pass. Up here, you have the config bytes that defines the memory and how the memory should be accessed. And up here is the UID, but they call it card serial number. Now the idea is that what I showed was you can tier that one very easily, the ePurse to FFFs. But what we were trying to do was to figure out how to do it smoothly in the Proxmark client, because I had a script for it. So we just very easily run this, and that's the range that you need in between 400 microseconds to 500. You will very easily tear off that card to FFFs. Very broad, very generic, simple attack to do. Ooh. No? Jesus Christ. You're a hard crowd.
I think that's amazing, guys.
I think it's amazing. Work. But what comes next is more amazing. We got a rumor from a guy in Australia called MVX. And he's like, yeah. No, I tier the config block. I'm like, really? You tier the config block? Never worked for me, and I did some testing. It's like, interesting. ATK goes and tries it, and like, yeah, I did it too. And I'm like, fuck you. It's like, what? Am I the noob all of a sudden? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to walk you through this part here, what's interesting. What we have access to in the config block is these 4 bytes, but they write. And that's what we want. When we write it, we can tier it. Reading doesn't matter when you tier things, because you can trick the application layer, but it's not interesting. So, the 3C up there in the end is something that's called fuses. It really dictates how you access the card. And it says, these fuses are decoded nicely down here, and it says application locked. Secure page, key is not locked. It means that you have to authenticate to the card in order to read out the memory. Kind of normal stuff. If you look at the data sheet, you see which bytes you have access to depending on the first byte. And here's the config block. And here's something called, we are really just interested in 3 bytes, or 3 bits of this byte. And it's the crypt0, crypt1, and F personalization. When that, okay, I'm not going to read that loud. When it's cleared, they say it's impossible to return it. It's locked for application. You can never do anything. Remember that. And this is the 2 other bits. If it's either of those, it's secure page and we can't get access to it. However, there's one setting, the 0-1 setting, that is non-secured. You feel where I'm going now, aren't you? Yes. And we really want that. So we take this. We start our command. And this is you see up here now, it's a little bit higher up in the sequence with 1700 to 2000 about. We're in the right phase now because we want flips to zeros, right? That's the hardest part. Flipping to ones is easy in the raise phase, but flipping to zeros is done in the right phase. So we start doing that, and all of a sudden, we get a flip in the right byte. But it gives us the personalization bit, which is good. But we really need to do crypt0 and crypt1. However, once you get this, I'll just show you up a little more clear what you're after, because it says 3 Cs. And then you can get it to A, B, C, which is good. But the AC is what you really, really want, because that's the unsecure bit, right? The 0-1 you saw before. So we're here now. And I had a problem. This slide is wrong. This image is wrong, but I didn't have a photo of when it's AC. But once you get it to AC here, because you can actually, when it's here, I can write to it. I can write and say, now it's BC, I can write AC to it. I don't have to tear it anymore. That's a fucking perfect thing. So, in this one here is used the key, so it doesn't matter. But you can just read out all the memory all of a sudden. You get all the diversified keys with it. And now listen up, David, because this is what you asked me about before. So, you get the diversified key out of it for that card, so you can read that card. You don't know the master key for that site yet. So, we can extract the facility code and card numbers encrypted here, data and rest. We have the keys for that, so that's not an issue. But we wanted more. We got the diversified key. So that guy, ATK, developed, there's a 4th attack in the I-class papers back to the Heart of Darkness. That 4th attack is like reverse back the hash. So you can take the diversified key, and you can reverse that back by trying a whole heap of desk computations. You feel me, David? And you use hashcat for today. And then you actually get the key out of it, so now you have the master key for that site instead. So if you have the modernized versions of iClass, they changed the KDF to an AES-based one. It doesn't matter, because we can do this to extract the diversified key, and we can run hashcat on it to get the site key out of it, and we own the whole fucking system. Now you go, woo!
Really, really fun, almost academic stuff from you, right?
That was fun.
Didn't expect that, yeah, of course. But in the field, of course, we don't do any of that, but we do rely on shoulders of giants, right, to do that. But let's talk a bit about how do we actually apply the attacks physically. Now, one part of doing that is, of course, stealth. So in order to, let's say, you've prepared, you got your key cloned, and now the question is, you're in the field, You're there, you're not supposed to be there, you're doing some social engineering. Some of you may have been to my social engineering workshop yesterday, so that's part of that, but you try not to cause a fuss. So we had a customer where we actually failed to get into their part of the building using technical means. What we did, we ended up doing classic social engineering, but they had this super secure building, and on the first floor, the only way to go up is a lift. Fire escape was unapproachable, and the lift only opens with an RFID card. But if the RFID card is wrong, then there's a huge, loud announcement on the whole first floor saying, card unrecognized, and there are multiple guards standing around. Now, we did find that you can go downstairs to floor -1 to the parking garage. Same system there, but no guards. It looked like the video cameras didn't have audio, so that's where we were. But still, there are video cameras, so you can't just come to a reader if one of the cameras could zoom in on here. So you can't just come on to a reader and start, adding Proxmark there or changing different cards. So what can actually be done is you can use magic. For example, if you come here and you're just chilling and you pass your hand on there, it says valid, right? It just works. So this is of course the preparations have been done, right? If I do this, then I go here. It says invalid. Yeah? So this here is one of the tools of trade. It's a ring. I don't usually wear rings. It just has 3 different RFID cards on there that can be switched. And when you're ready, you just go there. And even if someone hears the announcement, the error message, they don't see anything. They think it's a glitch, right? So small things like that for stealth are really, really important, I think. Okay, how do we? Is it dead?
Your phone. Take away your phone.
Is it dead?
What are you doing?
Oh, I know. You click there, so now it's here. There we go. Perfect. So. Then concealing reader or concealing the tag. Now we talked about concealing the tag, of course, here. Concealing a reader if you want to copy a card. If you want to read a card, usually nothing too fancy where you need to crack it, because these interactions are really, really narrow in time. You can use a bag. You can put an antenna in the bag. You can do that. Or you can rub against people in public transport. If it's really crowded, you just walk through it and you have an antenna, so you try to do that. That's something you can do, of course. Yes. Chip implants as well. Yes.
Cyborgs unite!
You wanna scan it? Does it work? You don't want Evil Demon to have your DNA or whatever?
No, I'm not here.
Nah.
No, I'm not valid.
Yeah. Well, yes, so there are different ways to do it. So Iceman is one level above me, of course, obviously, and he can just wave a hand and guards comes, searches him, and then nothing. Yeah. Fingernail. Oh, yes, absolutely. I have that as well. It's in my tent. Yes, there are fingernail implants that you glue on and then add a layer of lacquer on the top as well. Yeah, that's also a good one. But a bit harder to show on camera here on the stage. And for relay attacks, you can, of course, use, another thing you can do is use relay attacks, or you can use long-range readers. For example, fun stuff that could theoretically be done. We could create an antenna in the form of a door frame, because antenna needs to be circular or rectangular, closed loop, and put it over the door frame. And you come in, and stuff is read. Quite nice. Yes, so what can you attack? We have the 3 different classes: low, high, and ultra-high frequency. And here's a reference table. You can do cloning, simulation, replay, relay, crypto. You can do weaponized reader, sniffing, denial of service, and kill as well. Now, the relay here at low frequency. What does it mean? I mean, it can be done, but no one is bothering to do that, because why would you do that, right? You have other attacks are sufficient enough. Now, for cloning, what do you do, right? So you can get the keys. To get the keys, you sometimes need to do some crypto attacks, more often than not. If it's a self-made crypto, then the key just might be there. I've seen that. They put the key on there. It's a symmetric encryption, and it's all BS. They heard our talk. They decided, okay, we need a card per key. So we're going to have the key in the card. So, you can read memory. For that, you just need an antenna and a reader. Quite easy. So writing a card, you need a writable card. Magic card, for example. to visually fake a card, which is sometimes something that we need to do. For example, when in 2014 we hacked the public transportation system of the capital of Latvia, Riga, what we did was we didn't want to create like real cards that look real, but we did want when the authorities come in to check if you've paid or not, then they also think that you've paid. You can't just, give them Proxmark and here, it's green. So what you can do is you microwave the card for a bit. It pops the chip, and the chip is now inert, and now you can put a different card on the bottom so that it's not visible to the person checking, and it just reads. Quite nice. Now to simulate, right? What you need. You can get the keys using crypto tags, just as before. To read the memory, same stuff. And for simulating, you need a tag simulator. Now, it is not the same. Not all readers, or rather most of the readers, won't be able to simulate, but there are specific tools, including Proxmark and your favorite, Flipper Zero.
Yeah.
That can be used to simulate. Now, seriously though, it's not that great. We don't use it in the field for that. We do use it for iTag. No, not iTag. The Russian key fob thingy, the connecting thingy. Right.
iButton.
Huh?
The iButton.
Yeah, iButton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's why we use it in our business. Right. For relay, you do need readers. Right. So you read the card, you simulate the card. For replay. For replay, you do need readers. So you read the communications. Proxmark is good for that, and then you can replay that when you need later on. Right. Works on some cards. For relay, specialized devices needed. Can't really do much with standard stuff. But really, really powerful if you want to steal cars. We're not in the business of stealing cars. Do you know any other applications where relay attacks would be, useful or beneficial?
It's two different ways now. Relay attacks has either you're on application layer 4, and that's you have as much time in the world as the timeout is like 5 seconds. So you can relay things across the world over Wi-Fi. It's no problem. But sometimes the protections of this is, of course, that they did something called distance bounding protocols. And they really want to detect, because the speed of light is constant, you can measure how fast the reply was, and by then you can calculate how close the card is to your reader. So they did that as a protection. The only thing you can overcome that with is this technology, which means that you send it over radio instead.
Yeah, but the speed of light is a problem in relay attacks, right? At some point, we won't be able to hack it unless some quantum physics come out or something. Wormholes. Okay, protections. Right, you did mention this already.
Yeah.
Also, there is magic and cloned card detection. So there are multiple ways that you can use to do that. For example, you can see if it behaves correctly, right? The original system, the original reader, can try to write the UID directly and see if it complies or if there's an error message. It can also try to do commands over their interface that are not part of the original spec and see if those fail or not. Yes. And Faraday bags, of course. If you don't want your shit to be read, you just put it in a Faraday bag. I don't think I have one with me right now. And it's not going to be read. There are custom frequency systems as well. What we see here on the screen is a copier for 125 kilohertz, 250, 375, and 500. Unfortunately for us as pen testers in the field, we have seen a whole huge organization with multiple campuses implement their own frequencies. They just offset everything by a specific amount, and you need to make custom hardware to work with that. Really, really fun. Yes, and there are brute force protections as well, as in the key, the IC in the key isn't fast itself, usually. Now, I've seen this. This is a real picture. This is not AI. I took it in a medical facility in Riga. It basically says service entrance, but here is two-factor authentication. So I guess you can do that. The fun part is, if this box is grounded, it might actually work, at least for high-frequency cards. So, will we see RFID die soon?
Oh, that's a good question, though. Yeah, people keep on saying RFID hacking is dead and stuff. Because we use the new stuff, it's Bluetooth. We use the more modern BLE. All right, we got it. Cool. And we got the LoRa, the Zigbee, you see that in the hotel hallways, that's what we use, and Wi-Fi. And you go like, oh, okay. Does it phase out? My reflection about that is actually that we are just seeing RFID hacking as a part of a whole. So it's not just attacking the card and reader like we did before, but it's a whole ecosystem of things. So what the users today have available in terms of analyzing traffic, web traffic, analyzing APIs, analyzing the cloud, doing the firmware extractions, attacking the SAMs, attacking the source code. It's just part of it. And what you see usually is the more wow effect is you want that external trigger. So when someone sends a package to the TPMS sensors on a Tesla and take over the whole car because they can get a kill chain that way in, and the TPMS sensors are RFID based, that's just the way of doing it. But it's a part of a whole ecosystem. So what once was just a little narrow field of things has now become a part of a whole hacker thing that you need a lot of different areas together. That's my opinion. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I don't think RFID is going away, even though it's broken. I mean, look around. None of the technologies that are broken are really going away. They're just staying here, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once a reader is there on the wall, I mean, those are 30 years old. They don't change those. Why do we keep them? Yeah,
and
well...
The part about RFID implementations is that they're necessarily, by necessity, physical manifestations of them. So it's not just, you can't just push an update and replacing the whole system is not an option in many cases.
That's why people love these mobile credentials, right? Because it's digital. You can just reclaim it. Say it's like we can revert your access that way. But still, there will always be like this. It's like cash, People should use cash.
I hope it stays.
Yeah.
Unlike Sweden. Cash in Sweden is dying, right?
More or less.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for doxing me again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, what we mean by iPhones suck is, of course, the NFC thing in them has not really been made open to developers, so it's hard to use for hacking.
So if you want to get started with it, you can buy yourself a cheap Proxmark 3 EC, make sure that it has 512 kilobits of data firmware for it. You can buy a NARD SAM and flip a 0, and you buy a bunch of different magic cards. You do some cheap, genuine readers. You do a door simulator. You build them up, and yeah. What's the conclusion, man?
Well, the conclusion is yours, but I can help you out.
Oh man.
Yes. So RFID hacking is looking at the wholeness of the system, right? Tell us about the Tesla hack.
I just did, man. We can skip that part.
Okay, well, let's just...
I'm really taking that.
The leader of Team Content came here to get us off the stage already. We ran out that much. We can just skip to the next slide, right?
We're going to slide.
Yeah.
Hack, be responsible, disclose, buy.
Yeah.
We want to extend our thanks and to the community. I love the community, and I love you, Team Dumpster Fire. You've been giving me nightmares how fucking good you are, because you guys scare me. I love you to pieces. Thank you all.
Wow.